Welcome to Ecomm Cowboy. This is D2C's daily show brought to you by Seguno and Postscript and AMP, and we are coming to you live from somewhere at an undisclosed location in the beautiful hills of Austin, Texas. It is Tuesday, February 10th in the year of our Lord 2026, and we have got a jam-packed show for you today. Sean Frank asks the question, are agencies cooked, fam? The internet debates. I think this was rage bait, and we are going to get into it ourselves. I think there's a lot to uncover here and a lot to talk about. Meta is confirmed to build creative insights directly into the ads manager, and creative strategists rejoice. It's what we've all wanted for a long time, to be able to have data and for Meta to give us reasons for, hey, this didn't work because of that and such, etc. And finally, Valentine's Day, setting incredible records, driving revenue through the roof, but not in the way you're probably thinking. Pet gifts is surging everywhere. And I think brands, there's a lot of opportunity for us to take advantage of selling gifts for our furry friends. Will Roman, founder of Chisos Boots, is going to join us on the show, and he is going to tell us how he competes with others in his space who are literally 100 times larger. Unfortunately, my partner in crime, Colin Doherty, he will not be with us today, but we are going to charge forth nonetheless, and there is a lot for us to talk about. Agencies. Are agencies cooked? Let's move forward here, Carson. Sean Frank, CEO of Ridge, asks the question, and I think a lot of us have been considering this as Claude Code and all of the AI tools, be they generative or helping on the operation side, we've all been wondering. I think we have to admit, are agencies cooked? Outreach for influencers, Claude can do it. All marketing data and analytics, Claude can do it. Copy for images to video to landing pages, Claude can do it. Where will value be added? It's a good question. It's a good question, Sean. And people had a lot of things to say. Let's move down here, Carson, to our next one. Chris Mikulin. I think I'm saying that right. Chris, don't get mad at me if I said that wrong, but I'm happy to see you on Twitter again. I have not seen your face for some time. Chris has this to say: value's in the same place it's always been. Bud. I don't know if that was a good bud or a bad bud, but it was a bud nonetheless. Between the ears, that's where value is added. And I agree with this. I agree with this. Value is added between the ears. Kevin Simo had this to say as well. He responds, no, agencies are not cooked, for the same reason a version of this tweet about something being automated has been wrong for 15 plus years. I think we have been asking this question, right? Email's always dead. Meta, ads, everything's always dead, right? It's always over and then it never is. It doesn't acknowledge differences in quality and strategy. I hope the newest thing wipes out the long tail every time, and it usually disappoints. CJ Slattery had this to say: human conductors of robot orchestras. I think this is very appropriate. I do think this is going to be the future. Human conductors of robot orchestras. I think a lot of us were going to be managing AI agents rather than managing people. I think that's the future for a lot of us, unless you're already at the top, okay, of the ecosystem. If you're at the top of your org and things are growing and scaling and it's green arrows up and to the right forever, you're probably going to be managing humans for a long time. But for a lot of us, we're going to be needed to be human orchestrators of human conductors of robot orchestras. We are a long way from AI replacing elite human talent. This all coming from people on the agency side. I think it's appropriate. Are agencies cooked? Jordan West has this to say. I'm a big fan of Jordan. Anyone can cook at home, and yet there are more restaurants than ever. True. Very apt. Very apropos, Jordan. Most people, even business people, just want others to push the buttons for them. That is the case. I know I want that. Don't we all want that? We all want others to push the buttons for us. I agree with Taylor Holiday that software enabled agencies will dominate and just solve new problems. Now, I think Sean knows this, and Sean himself is an agency guy. Okay. Before he was CEO of brands in our space, he himself was in the agency world. So I think he knows that our agency's cooked ultimately. No, they're going to be around for some time. And I think there's going to be a merging, as Taylor has so often talked about, of software and service together. The next form of the highest performing agencies are those who meld man and machine together. You don't just get a tool, you don't just get a service offering, but you get tools and you get service together. And it is that combination wielded by the right person with the right strategy and the right stuff between the ears, as Chris told us. It is that person who will grow and who will thrive in this next era of agencies to come. I would also say, guys, we are so early. And the Super Bowl proved this out. We're going to get into something later about how the general public responded to Anthropic's ads and other AI ads. We are so early. I realize now, those of us who are on X, regularly interacting in the e-commerce and tech space, we're so early. We're so early. Little story here. When I was at Bruce Bolt, and I'm talking like 3 years ago now, okay, there was a big push for us internally. Hey guys, we want to be on the cutting edge of AI so that we can keep our head count, our man hours overhead here. We can keep this team and we can scale with this team right here. Very insightful, full of foresight from Gard Mayer. Now, that was 3 years ago. Okay. Imagine where AI was at that time. Just think back where it was at that time and imagine where it is now. Okay. The tools have developed quite a bit. Okay. But it's really not up until, I'll say on my side, it's really not up until the last few months that those tools have become to be so effective for making ads, getting inside of Claude, teaching it to give you suggestions, manage ads with your own philosophy, all of these kind of things. It's only right up until now that those tools have developed as such that we don't have people mocking them in our space online. We have people embracing them. Wow, I've got to get on this now, lest my job be automated away. Now, that being said, this community, it's tight. It's tight. It's small. Most people are not living and swimming in our world on a daily basis. I say that to say industry-wide change, it's going to be slow. It's not going to happen fast. It's not. And I know the capabilities are only going to grow exponentially at a faster rate, but human adoption of those things is going to be slow. It takes a long time to turn a big ship. Prior to being here with you every day, I was at another agency. I've been on the agency side several times. I was at another agency that half of their clients are not focused only on e-commerce. They live in service, they live in construction, they live in software, they live in so many spaces, healthcare, etc. Half of their clients were in what I would categorize as boring businesses. Okay, I'm biased. When you're selling consumer products on the internet, I think it's sexy and cool, or you're building the next AI tool inside of tech that's going to transform society. I would consider that to be a sexy, hot thing to be doing. Half of our clients there at that time were in what you would think of, or what I would call boring businesses. Okay. What I realized is that the effort it requires on the marketing side, we'll just say, to grow, maintain, sustain a $5 million ecom business, the effort that it requires there is commiserate, about the same for a $50 million boring business or much larger. Okay. I say that to say the marketing efforts on both of those, even though they be disparate in terms of revenue, the marketing effort is quite similar. I say that to say, and I'm to be honest, I'm being generous and I'm being conservative on those amounts. I say that to say there's a whole other world out there, guys. You know, e-commerce makes up what, 15% of all purchases when it comes to consumer products. We live in a small world and it's growing every day, but we live in a small place of the internet, and whatever is cutting edge that draws our mind and I'm going to get left behind, all the jobs are disappearing. Whatever that is, it is still a small slice of humanity. And there is a much larger world out there who is doing business on the internet that is going to be still be doing business on the internet much the same way that they are today. The tools and the workflows and the fast-paced development that is happening inside of our world every 24-hour period, it's going to make its way to the rest of the internet world at a much slower rate. And I don't think it's too much to say that. It's a big place, guys. And there's a lot of business to be had in other corners of the internet. There are also 20,000 agencies. There's a lot of agencies out there. Are agencies cooked? No, they're not cooked. There's going to be a movement in the direction of being software enabled, a Sean, as Taylor Holiday puts it, a melding of man and machine. It's going to happen. It is happening. It will continue to happen more, but there's a lot of ways to do business on the internet. And there's a lot of industries that are wide open for competition, that are a little less sexy, that you may not be thinking about every day, that may not have the coolest consumer product that you want to buy for yourself. There are a lot of other places and ways to make money on the internet. And those workflows, they're going to take a significant amount of time. They're going to take time. Don't worry. They're going to take time. Agencies are not cooked. You know, I had a quote. I won't say who it was from the other day, but he said, there's 20,000 agencies. I only think there's about 50 of them that are any good. I can't say that. I don't know. I don't have that kind of perspective, but I have worked inside of a couple really good ones. And I think there's still time. There's still time. Agencies are not cooked, but they will evolve. And ultimately, the value lies in being able to take something off of a business owner's plate, you pushing the buttons, you managing what tools and workflows deliver an actual result that said business owner wants. That's it at the end of the day. That's it at the end of the day. So I think there's still time for a lot of us, for most of us, and maybe even for all of us, there's still time. Now, we have Will Roman, who is coming to us very soon. But before we get there, I want to talk about AMP. If you today cannot describe concisely how is your business actually doing, if you cannot do that in a sentence or two, or in a dashboard, a single dashboard that is visually pleasing and insightful with all of the right metrics, if you can't answer the question, hey, how is our CAC? What is our LTV? How is said cohort doing? Are we tracking toward forecast or not? If you can't answer that in a concise way today, I'm not sure that you know the answer. That's why you need to be working with AMP. Their personal favorite tool of mine is Lifetimely. The good news is you use Lifetimely, you get everything else in their suite gratis. They allow you in one place and space to be able to tell boss man or the rest of your team, hey, here is how we're doing. You look at it. If you've ever been inside of one of these teams, you know. Your stats, your tracking, your reporting, it gets scattered everywhere. AMP solves the problem of bringing everything in one place and space and allowing you to scale with confidence. Don't you want that in 2026? I think you do. Go to useamp.com, test drive that platform today. They've got something exciting rolling out with their AI in countdown, I think 27 days. Get inside of amp.com, go use them, scale with confidence in 2026. Now, a very special person has just joined us here. I will say he is a personal friend of mine. He is a personal friend of mine, but not only does he deserve to be on this show for that reason, he is doing something truly unique, not only in Central Texas, but across the internet. And he is winning in a very established competitive space that is cowboy boots, which is it is a product that I get excited about. Everyone, welcome to the show. Will Roman, founder of Chisos Boots. Will, get in here. Yeah.
Is this working?
Yeah, it's working. You sound good and you look good.
Let's go.
Hey, should I put on a cowboy hat too? I feel that I should.
Of course. Why
Since
don't you have that boom mic that's built for cowboy hats?
I think it is, man. Let me
Look,
just.
I dug this like 1980s relic out just so I could wear the hat.
Now we're matching, big boy.
You're looking good.
Man, I am so excited to have you on this platform. I do want to know, I know you know this, but a lot of our listeners don't. Part of the reason why I love Will is that he was one of my first customers with my very first D2C brand. This was 40 Acres Coffee back in the day, selling beans, slinging beans over the internet. Well,
The best.
it was so good, at least for a while. At least for a while.
No, I still miss that. Every time I get a coffee roasted, I think about 40 Acres
40
and
Acres,
Chris Hall
yeah.
and those magnificent beans.
I remember at the time you were living in this swanky place right next to the river, and we were physically delivering the beans at the time. I mean, we were doing things that didn't.
It's because you're a product guy. It was the best product. I mean, no one's topped it. No one's topped it.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, man, give us some insight. I know that you are in consumer now, you're in ecom, and you guys are crushing. I think, and I'm biased here, but I think you have got the best product inside of cowboy boots that are readily available for people to purchase. I think you got the best.
I appreciate that.
But man, if you would give people some background on you and how you got here, because it's not like you have been slinging boots on the internet forever. You've done other things before you got here.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the best things in life, I walked into it ass backwards.
I love that.
I mean, look, so I was born in Austin, Texas. I'm a native Texan. And, my first pair of footwear, I'm sure, were little red cowboy boots. I've got all the photos of me as a kid are in little cowboy boots. And so, like, it's here in Texas, boots are not just footwear. They're part of the mythology of who we are. They're part of being a Texan. And when you walk around, it doesn't matter if you're interacting on the did I lose you guys?
No, you're good. We're here, brother. We're here, brother.
Perfect. You disappeared. I was like, where'd you go? But the point being is that it's in the water here, right? Like, you're not just a rancher wearing boots. It represents this idea of responsibility. And so for me, the point being of all of that is that boots has just always been in the background of my mind. And so I've got an interesting background. I moved out at age 15. I had a screen printing business. I'd done a bunch of random stuff. I went to the University of Texas.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. You know. And but after doing a stint in the tech world, I found myself, I had a motorcycle accident. I messed up my back and I couldn't wear my cowboy boots anymore without wrecking my back anyway. Now I'm stubborn, so I'd wear them anyway. But one day I was out in West Texas in the shadow of the Chisos Mountains. I mean, you couldn't write a better script. and I was like, there's got to be a better way. Now, here's the backstory too, which is that 5 years before that, I actually moved into my 97 4Runner and lived out of it for months and drove down to Belize, went all throughout Mexico, ended up in the jungles of Palenque. That's a whole nother story. But I discovered Leon, which is the leather capital of North America. And so I wanted to build a cowboy boot that was extremely comfortable, but was also well made. It wasn't using plastics, and one of the things that I'd seen that just didn't really exist. And so there wasn't a big giant vision. It was me. I started cutting open cowboy boots and seeing how they were made. I got books from Half Price Books. I started YouTubing it like everybody does. And next thing I know, I was down in Mexico. And I don't know. I can tell you more, but what do you want to know?
Wow. Well, I find that compelling. I find it compelling because I share the same feeling about the aura of cowboy boots. Obviously, I didn't grow up here in Austin. I was outside of Dallas, but early 90s, Garth Brooks, country music taking over Americana, and knowing cowboys, rodeo pros, and just having that kind of feeling. I mean, at the same time, the Dallas Cowboys were at their peak, of their play on the field, and just having that kind of atmosphere around. it made me want to embody all of that. And there's something unique about boots that allow you to do that. It's not just footwear, it's not another kind of shoe. It feels like when you step into them, for me, it feels like you're stepping into a persona. You're stepping into a way of life. You're being grounded in roots that really speak to a significant amount of the country. That's what I feel are behind Chisos boots. Are behind boots in general, but especially yours, especially Chisos boots. But the thing,
can I jump in on that? I know this is your show, but that gets me so excited because, like, the cowboy is the quintessential American.
Exactly.
And there was this. Check this out. I was in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, wearing my Chisos boots. We had just launched. I was like, I was going on a big road trip, and this guy walked up to me. We start talking, and he finds out about the boots, and he's like, "Listen, man, Texas is the America of America." Let's go. Like, that's the idea. Is that when you put it on, it's not just like I said, it's not even just like you said, like a persona. It's a heritage thing. And there's this idea that you now are a little bit representative.
Yeah.
And you've got to carry yourself differently. And that's what cowboy boots are.
Yeah, it's the cowboy is the quintessential American icon. It's the symbol of America. Pioneering frontier, settling the Wild West, manifest destiny, the American dream. There's something about that I think really speaks to the culture. It speaks to the country, and it speaks to our history. Here's the thing, though. Brother, I would have no clue how to actually make my own boot. I wouldn't have a clue. And it sounds like you went to the place and space yourself. You were there in Leon, Mexico, and you were into the entire process. I mean, just describe what that's like, because to me, it's a total black hole. I would have no clue how to get into it.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, let me compress this for the sake of this little segment here. But the idea is that, there was a lot of help here in Texas. There's a lot of resources that I got. But ultimately there was this element here of either you're going to come be, an 8-9 year apprentice for a bespoke boot, or like, we don't want to help you because you're competition. And when I went down to Leon, again, I'd been there before, a little bit familiar, but the big shops didn't want anything to do with me. I wasn't showing up, being able to place, 20,000 orders. I'm still not placing 20,000 unit orders. And, but I found a father-son workshop, and they let me, I rented an apartment down the street.
Come on, baby.
And I was there for 4 months, and I was like, teach me what I don't know. And so I was able to use the machines myself. We use all this old equipment from the 1920s. And I could, we use hand channel welts, we use real leather, veg tan in the heel counters. We're not putting in plastic shanks or plastic toe boxes, none of that stuff. And the thing was that, like, I basically was like, tell me what I don't know.
Wow.
And then also I had the ignorance of being like, let's not do this big factory method. Like, I get it. I understand why you would want to do that when you're putting out 500,000 boots a year, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do them right. And so that's kind of the merger, where it was like my curiosity and just, I almost naivety about wanting to make something exist merged with their craftsmanship, produced this marriage of like a cowboy boot, full leather construction that also thinks about, what about the way the arch support is angled? What about the heels? What about the support when you're walking? What about impact dissipation? I can write you a whole essay on that. And so it was this unique time where I was single, I didn't have a wife, kids, and didn't have a job. I was like, you know what? Mexico's a lot cheaper. So just kind of figured it out. And then along the way, my buddies were like, wait a second, we want a pair.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. The things that I love about this, number one, this is founder energy. Metab Bogle of Carta Ventures, we had him. Of course, he buys a lot of D2C brands. And what he has said continually is, if you want good manufacturing, get on a plane and go to that place.
Oh, yeah.
Build a relationship. Depending on where you are, that day of business may look like being out all day drinking together and then shaking hands at night. But what I love about this is that not only were you willing to get on a plane, you went and moved. You went there, you rented an apartment, and you were there in the process every day. And what it sounds like was being rejected by some of these larger shops. Actually, what it did was it helped you actually make a better product than anybody else on the market. Is that fair?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I won't name names. One of the big boys actually found out what we were up to, and they came down and they placed a multi-million-dollar PO with the shop that we were working for to kick us out.
Bro.
And there is nothing better than to have that happen to you as a founder, because now you go. Now there's no backing out. Now there's a fight, and I love a good fight.
That's incredible, man. That is like real teeth competition. So they came down on purpose and they placed an order there to like try and box you out so that you could not.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, look, there's 4 major manufacturers in Mexico that are producing 90% of what you see here in the United States. It doesn't matter what brand is on it, whether it's Lucchese or Tecos or Justin or Dampo. It doesn't matter. Most of them are all going to the same couple of big giant shops. And so they've got to protect their factory space. I get it. I get it. And so no harm, no foul here. But I don't forget easy.
That's what I like about you. That's what I like about you. And Texans don't forget easy. Remember the Alamo. I mean, Texans don't forget easy. You know, it's a long memory there. Well, tell me, I feel like the product creation and the quality and the time that it has taken, the unique way that you guys develop your boots versus some of the other competition, I feel like that is embodied so succinctly inside of the famous video of you cutting the boot open. And of course, cutting some other boots open that are not yours and showing the difference. Why do you think that has resonated so much? I mean, I've seen it so many times and it's just as powerful each time. Why has that resonated so much?
I mean, if I had to guess, it's just because it's honest. It's not polished. Kind of like this cruddy webcam that I'm doing here. It's just real. It's genuine. And so when we make stuff here at Chisos, we don't have actors. We have me and we have people that I know. And we don't make stuff thinking about some sort of market segment. We make it based on what we think is interesting. And with that one, I mean, it was this combination of it. At that time, I'll talk explicit here. Is that at that time, Tecovas was already massive, and they were on their big upswing, and so everybody was claiming, oh, you're just a clone. And there's 300 boot makers out there, right? There's 300 brands, and so when people would come into the shop, we had one of their boots cut open. We had some Lucchese's cut open. We had some Chisos cut open. And I said, why don't we put this online? And that's what we did. And so all we do is we just hold them up and we show you, here's what we're using. And by the way, since then, we have actually gone even further. We don't stop in trying to improve this boot. In that version, that boot, we have a 4mm veg tan leather heel counter, and we've now doubled it to 8. And I actually had to fly a cobbler from Canada who knew how to do it down to Mexico to teach us how to do this particular thing.
Seriously.
Yeah, we don't stop on making them better. And so I think there's that simple energy. Like, here's the thing, to quote a very famous film character, I'm not a smart man. And so all we do is the basics, and we just do them well. And we don't put any spin on it.
I love that. I love that. Well, I think that probably leads into how you can compete with companies that I would just guess are literally operating on a 100x scale. Some of them.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, that product development, that time, the uniqueness, flying in the guy from another country who's the only one that can teach us how to do it. I mean, but give me some wider perspective too. How do you guys compete with the big boys inside of your space? It's a question that all of us want to answer and want to be able to do for whatever widget or service that we are offering on the internet. How do you compete like that?
Sure. And just to give a little context right here, Justin Boot Brands is owned by Berkshire Hathaway, right? They're the biggest boot brand in the world.
Wow.
Lucchese has been around for 150 years. They're between 150 and 200 million a year. And you've got other players in the space. And of course, you've got the darling now, Tecovas, right? And they're, my estimates based on what they're manufacturing is, they're between 350 and 400 mil.
Wow.
They are literally 100 times our size. They also have 1,400 employees. And let me put credit where credit's due. Chris over there is crushing it at the marketing game,
She
right?
is.
It
She
looks
is.
spectacular. They're finally doing the things that a brand of that size with those types of, being based out of Texas should be doing. So
Agree.
that's a tough spin. And for a while, we were saying we were loving Tagoma's marketing because we were like, wait, keep doing that, guys. It's helping us. But when she got on board, it upped the stakes.
Yeah.
And so how do you compete with someone when they can outspend you 100 to 1 and they've got 200 times your employees? Product. Here's the thing, is that their entire company is built around a certain model. They've got to produce hundreds of thousands of units. And in order to do that, you've got to cut a couple of corners. You got to start using thermoplastics and look, and their audience, by the way, their audience doesn't really care for the most part because they're just using them to go out every once in a while.
Right.
And so it's a fair product at a fair price. There's no shade being thrown here. But the way that we compete against them is that we build a better mousetrap. And so and then the thing I had to learn, which you were calling attention to with the videos, then you got to tell people and you got to show them. And I think that's the thing. I can get out there and claim all these things. They can claim them too, and they're going to be able to push that message larger, and it's going to look better. And so the only way that we've competed is word of mouth. Wow. Now, obviously, we're throwing in our own organic to that too, but we're starting to see this, that curve is starting to look the way we want it. And all of our surveys are like, how did you find out about us? The number one thing is word of mouth.
Oh,
the number two thing is other people posting on YouTube about us. Wow. And then finally, our own ads, which we started posting. We started doing ads 6 years in because I'm an idiot. And and then they hear about it from our content. But the thing is, it's like people really dive in. The product actually matters. Now, it takes longer.
It
took I didn't drop 180 million in venture capital into this business. I dropped zero. But it's finally paying dividends, and then now we have the independence, and we have no debt, and we have margins that are keeping us in business. Let's put it that way.
I love that, and there's a number of things that I love about that. That number one marketing channel being word of mouth. That was the same kind of signal that we got at Bruce Bolt, which went on a hockey stick. Went on a hockey stick run. Which comes down to product. You actually have to build a better mousetrap. Yeah, you actually have to. You have to. Yeah, you have to.
It's here's the thing: is that like I don't know. I'm not a marketing expert. I'm certainly not a spreadsheet wizard. So all we did is we made something that I wanted to exist. Yeah. We made it well. I wanted to make grandpa proud, so to speak. And then in terms of how we tell people about it, we literally just interact in our real life. This Saturday, I was out in Waco at Homestead Heritage. Some buddies live out there. They've got Mustangs that they're getting from BLM land. They're bringing them in. They're doing natural horsemanship, and they're training them in. And so guess what? We just went out there and hung out, and Demetri took a couple of pictures. And like, that's our marketing. It's not a set. It's not some big $20,000 budget. It's literally just hanging out with the people that we know because we're from here. And it's an old school, true small business. And the good news is that they can still compete. Now it's going to be slower. That's what you got to accept, and the guys over at, all the brands that we named, they're going to retire. They're going to have some a lot nicer accommodations that I'm going to be hanging out. That's all right. That's all right. This is the path God put me on, and I'm happy to be walking it.
Well, I think the underlying promise of e-commerce, the underpinnings of why we all get into it, one of the tenets, I'll say, is freedom. And having started with no VC capital, having taken the slow way of actual organic growth, really embodying the product and the people that love who you are and what you do, I think it's obviously paying dividends. One of the things that you do that I find compelling is your HQ on South is it South Lamar or South First? South First. On South First, having that space, to me, I wish that so many apparel brands that I have worked with could have it. I know not everybody can, but I see it as a real asset to you because it allows people to enter into the brand, so to speak,
Yeah.
have an experience, a physical experience, be able to come and find you. They're coming in from out of town. They can come visit you. Maybe they say, hey, Will, I'm bringing 12 people. I'm bringing 20. We're coming in town for this conference and we want to come and do this and that. Talk about that. Is that the reality? I'm sure it comes with some headaches as well, but I see that as a real asset to everything that you're doing.
Here's the deal. So when I set out to build Chisos, it wasn't to build some giant ecom business. I've reluctantly realized all these things. Like I want to make a better boot, and then I realized, okay, I got to sell it, and then I reluctantly realized I'm an ecom business, and now I'm like, dang it, I'm in marketing, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
And so Chisos HQ is this manifestation, this place that I wanted to go to, and I wanted to hang out, and I wanted to spend time at. If you think back to the village, right? The village has got. You've got, you've got the church, you've got the green space, the commons, but you have this small stretch of commerce. And this is this thing where you go in there and you talk to I don't know, Mr. Smith, who runs the hardware store, and then you've got the local food thing, etc. And so Chisos is filling this space as the cobbler, and we are just simply a merchant along the journey that people are on. And when they come into this space, I want it to be about them. And I want it to feel this place where they get to step into this idea of this Texas that used to exist.
Yeah.
And hopefully will exist again. And what I mean by that is that to me, Texas represents this concept of warmth and friendship and rugged individualism merged with community aspects. And it's this very unique thing in America. And I've traveled all around. And so it used to be that was the default. Lubbock used to have like 200 rodeos within an hour's drive.
I saw that.
We're all online. We know what's going on. And so Chisos is this little outpost, this little corner of the world where I want to try and make that exist again. And so when you come in here, it's imperfect. I look around, I see all the flaws, but it's more like walking into a living room. It's not really set up like an actual retail store. We happen to do that here. But when we got this spot, we got it in COVID. It was a staffing agency. They had to get out. We had to move in. And so this is everything. We were fulfilling out of here. We're hosting people. But it is this small sample of the bigger vision that we want to make with Chisos.
I love that. I love that so much. And I feel for the success of any kind of apparel brand, I'll just say categorically, I really feel that for that thing to succeed with a specific market, specific crowd, a specific niche, the founder or somebody inside of that thing needs to be that niche. And I think, of course, you are. And I'll say that I feel that when I enter into that space, that kind of Texas you're describing. And talk to me about this year and what you guys have coming. I know that your catalog has grown. I mean, you're selling lady boots now. You've got the reserve, the exotics, that come out. But what are you excited about in 2026 as you guys keep growing?
Man, I have to talk about that anniversary edition boot just a little.
Yes, talk about it, man.
Because it was such a big deal for us. So like I said, we got out. So I guess if you look at the way the company grew, step one, we just got to exist. Step two was like, oh, we're not a clone. Let me show you that. And then the big thing was, okay, everyone knows, okay, you're an upper end. That's what you guys are doing. But Lucchese. And I was like, what Lucchese's never done is they've never taken the founders now, we're generations down, but the owner, you would say the current owner, has never gone out to East Texas himself, gone down to Anahuac, gotten in a boat, hooked a gator on a line, got it, reeled it in, skinned it, to get tanned, exported it down to Georgia, built the best cowboy boot ever made, brought it back and delivered it. That's what the anniversary edition is. So it is the penultimate Chisos boot is the anniversary edition. Texas wild hunting gator. Anyway, I get fired up.
Incredible, man.
I'm sorry.
It's incredible. There's this trope out there that I think is largely true, that people don't buy your widget necessarily. They buy the story. They buy what the thing can transform them into. And man, when you're describing all of that, I mean, there's so much packed inside of that. Going to East Texas, founder hooking the thing, skin that baby, make boots, one of a kind, truly one of a kind boots available. I mean, there's so much packed into that. Where'd you come up with that? That's brilliant, bro.
Just what we do, man. We just make the thing that we want. We just make, what would be awesome. I got this thing. I got a boot company, right? Like 10-year-old me would be like, "You've made it, brother." Like, so have some fun with it. Have some fun with it. So sorry for that detour. Going back to 2026, man, I'm getting married.
Come on, brother. Congratulations. Yes, that's right. Yes, you are.
March
is
going to be a good month. I'm getting married to my sweet bride to be, my fiance. I love saying fiance. What a great word, fiance. Natalia. So super excited about that. I know you meant on the business front. So for Chisos, I mean, look, we've got our first general manager. It's been me and a small but mighty team, and so now we got our first GM. We're expanding. We're adding a couple new exotics this year. I don't know if I'll reveal too much.
Yeah, you don't got to reveal too much.
But some of them go rattle, and you out. So there's some interesting stuff on the line, and we're gonna have some fun with it this year. We're gonna have some fun.
Man, that is so exciting. I'll just tell you, and I don't know. I'm just speaking the dream that I just see. To me, there is a hole left inside of the American consciousness that is the Marlboro Man.
Oh yeah.
Probably the best marketing that has ever existed was the Marlboro Man. 100%. And, of course, big tobacco can't advertise anymore, but there needs to be a company that embodies that again in the greater American consciousness and moves that forward in a winsome way, in a healthy way that doesn't give people lung cancer. But there needs to be a brand that does that and pushes that forward, because the American cowboy is so iconic and representative of our country. And what I hope, brother, is that Chisos is that company. That's what I hope. I don't know if it's 5 years, 15 years, or 50 years. I don't know how it all plays out, but that's what I hope for you.
We're on the same page, man. We're on the same. Can I go on a little bit of rant? We got time.
Rant.
Man, I mean, there's the thing. It's like, so let's look at that for a second. Look, that would be the dream. That's the dream. So the dream is how do we build something that's on solid foundation so that we can grow into that. Right. And I have no, illusions that we are a legacy brand now. I'm building with the intent of crafting our own legacy and becoming a heritage brand. So right now, look, we're the young gun. We got to put in our dues, so to speak. But that's the goal. And the reason is why. Right. Which is why. Here's the thing at Chisos. Like, I'll just be unabashed about it. Like, we celebrate Texas. We celebrate traditional values. We celebrate men and fathers and the builders of society. Yeah. That's who we're about. Right. That's who built this country. And that's who's going to continue to. And cowboy boots are wrapped up in it, because those people also are protectors, the providers. And there's an aspect there that we need to embrace. And we need to remember that thing. I mean, look. We kind of forgot it for the past 20 years or so. And there's a return to that. And it starts with us crafting the spaces that we're in, just like Chisos down here on South First. And the next step, I love that you mentioned Marlboro, because I don't know if you know this, but Marlboro used to have, I think it was 10,000 acre ranch out in Montana.
That's wild.
It was spectacular. You could actually win a trip to go there and be a cowboy for a week. I mean, it was incredible. It was a working cattle ranch. And so my dream is that down here in Texas.
Yeah, baby. Now we're talking, big boy.
I'm sure the big boys are probably going to steal. I mean, they probably thought about this. I don't know why they're not doing it right now. Like, I'll throw it out there. If I were one of those bigger boot brands, 100 times my size, I would have 1,000 acres in the hill country. Yeah. I would have the overnight accommodation, the flagship store, a working cattle ranch. We would live the actual brand. So the thing is, my dream, I think, is the dream of probably most Texans, is that I want to own a ranch one day. I want to raise my family there. I want to work with the animals. I want my life to be more connected to the land. And so the boots are a gateway for me to get as close to that as I can right now and to work towards that end goal. Cool. And I think that that's the thing that we share with most of the Chisos community.
I love that so much. I mean, I think that is the Texas dream. You know, there's the American dream, and then there's the Texas dream. And the Texas dream, it just moves the American dream a little farther out of town. You know, I want to own a little ranch and
Right.
be tied to the land and have my family raised there. Man, I love that so much, and I want to see it happen.
And we
I
want to
want
bring
to.
everyone in. That's the other thing, right? Is like this isn't just an exclusive thing. We want to have this open because I think that people it's like the first time you go to a great work of art or a museum or a beautiful structure and you see the possibility and you're and your world just gets shifted and you get to see it. And I think that that's what each one of us, that's how we live a good life. You know, we clean up our little corner of the world. We live a certain way. And I want to be able to be a part of that and share that vision with people as well. And I think the key to it might be getting Chris Hall on a horse and being the Chisos Marble Man.
All right, let's go, baby. Let's go. Hey, I'll sign up for that job. I'll sign up for that one, boy. That's exciting now. Well, hey, let's make it happen. And maybe, you know, maybe Chisos just keeps scaling to the moon, or maybe somebody just wants to come and drop just a giant bag of money to make it happen tomorrow. You know, I don't know.
We got to stay independent, man. Small, small and mighty. That's the way. That's the way, you know.
I love it. I love it. Well, man, so be it. Hey, I look forward to seeing that play out. And man, this is such an incredible story, and love what you're doing. And we just want to make sure you'll come back. You'll come back on the show at a later time.
Anytime, sir. Anytime.
Okay. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you, Will. And we thank you, man. We look forward to having you again.
Cheers, Chris.
Okay. Cheers, brother. Thank you. Wow. Man, Will Roman, whatever is in that guy's coffee, I want it. I mean, that guy, he is exuding founder energy. I mean, it is all over that guy. You can see why Chisos is winning. I've got my pair. It's my favorite pair of Cowboy boots that I've ever had. I have owned several pairs. They're doing something on a level product development wise that really sets them apart inside of their space. I know that success on the internet does not only and always come down to product development, but you've got to find your edge. You've got to find your edge in this world that's ever changing every day online. And boy, they surely have found it. I mean, they have made a better mousetrap. They have made a better cup of coffee. And boy, it's truly bearing out in their business. That is awesome to hear. And Will Roman, he's a focused man. Speaking of focus, I want to move forward here and talk about focus with one of our partners. You know, the reason Postscript can have the kind of success with SMS that they do is because they only do one thing all day, every day, and that is SMS. They will take the dare and own the challenge of making SMS your #1 revenue generator. Now, that is unique. And I know a lot of you do SMS with some other tool, et cetera, that does 5 or 6 other things for you as well. The reason Postscript on average, people see a plus 22% increase in revenue. The reason that happens is because SMS is all they do every day and in every way. I know for me, it was much more than that. We came in as one of the first things I did when I got inside of the last brand I was at. We made the switch to Postscript. We went from making very little money on SMS to being a top 1% account on their entire platform inside of a year. That's what happened. And of course, it made me look like a big brain marketer, but I'll give you the secret. I just did what they said. That's what I did. I did what they said. And they've got the data. They know the playbook. They know what to do. If you'll go to postscript.io/SMS-benchmarks, what you will get is great info on my vertical, my revenue band, what's normal for me to do on SMS, and how can I get there. Talk with Postscript, and they will get you there. Many thanks for them being a part of the show. Moving forward here, as we get close to wrapping, great news out of Meta today. And of course, this did not come directly from Meta itself, but this is the way. If you have been on D2C Twitter for very long, you got to know that you just kind of hang out and follow the right people, and then you get the news before it officially breaks from the platform itself. This comes to us from Marin Istvanik. Probably butchered that last name. Sorry, Marin. Facebook update. Meta confirmed they roadmapped building creative insights reporting into the ads manager for this year. Creative insights reporting built into the ads manager, ability to report on fatigue and creative similarity, etc., from the ads manager to inform creative refresh and diversification strategies. It was about time, as so far this was only available through reps. Yes, it was about time, because let's be honest, not all of us have access to meta reps, and not all meta reps are created equal. That is the case. Sometimes they get reassigned. Whenceforth did they come? Where did they go? Hard to say. But when you get a good rep that has moved on from your account or many accounts, boy, it's a hard loss. I'm very happy to hear this about creative insights being moved into the ad manager specifically. And Shireen from Growth Capital had this to say about it when she retweeted this and added her own comments. Insane. The biggest enabler of Meta making more ad revenue is brands making better creative. Imagine building the metaverse before creative insights reporting. Their sales and marketing teams were doing the heavy lifting on educating advertisers. About time they release this. It is. It's about time they release this. And hindsight is 2020. It is kind of crazy that they invested so many billions of dollars. I can't even remember how much. I want to say it's at least 30 bill into the metaverse, which we could pull up old screenshots of the first version of the metaverse now, and I think we could all have a good laugh. But the reality is Meta makes a ton of money. I think 160 billion, I think, in the past fiscal year, I think. And all of that comes from advertising. That's where it comes from. Bring up this graphic for us, Carson. I love this. Where does Meta's money coming from? 165 Bs in revenue. Where does it come from? 99% advertising. That's where it comes from. Okay. So happy to hear that we're working on that ads manager a little bit, right? If all of their money is coming from us anyway, why not feed the beast? Why not? Why not feed the beast and make all of our jobs a little easier? Happy to hear about this. Thank you, Lord Zuckerberg. Thank you, sir. We will take it. And why not direct just a little more company attention to advertising, because that's where the money's coming from. We'll take it. All the eyeballs that we can get. I have once said that they should just hire Taylor Holiday internally. They should just hire them and make him, commissioner of e-commerce inside of Meta. Now, I will still retain my proposed position of commissioner of e-commerce over, the United States. I'm still available for that. I'm just putting that out there. But happy to hear about this and look forward to its rolling out. It is close to Valentine's Day, and a very interesting category of spending is taking place. Valentine's Day spending hits record 29.1 billion. 29.1 bills. What are we spending so much on? As pet gifts surge. Did you ever think about this? Did you ever think that people are buying Valentine's Day gifts for their pets? I did not. Okay. I admit. This comes to us from ppc.land. I just want to read some of this article to you because it's so insightful for me. Consumer spending on Valentine's Day today reached an unprecedented 29.1 billion, surpassing 2025's record, according to the National Retail Federation. Shoppers budgeted, how much would you guess shoppers have budgeted per person or per pet? How much would you guess they have budgeted per person of significance in their life that they're going to spend for on Valentine's Day? What would you guess? 50, hundo, 150? Nay, sir, nay. $199 per person on average. $200, okay? And like we have talked about on the show before, Valentine's Day is not for lovers anymore, not for lovers exclusively, especially once you get down to Generation Z and lower. Valentine's Day spending, not primarily for lovers. The spending surge, I'm continuing to read, the spending surge reflects a fundamental shift in how Americans approach this holiday. Middle and high-income households drove the increase by expanding their gift lists beyond romantic partners, not just Gen Z. They have driven the spend by expanding their gift list beyond romantic partners to encompass friends, colleagues, and household pets. Okay, I'm going to keep scrolling here. Pet spending reaches a new milestone. Our furry friends, they're helping us all in e-commerce. And perhaps you do need to spin up that email campaign or that new ad that is targeting pet spending for your product for Valentine's Day. If it is apropos, pet gifts achieved a record 35% participation among consumers. 35%, generating 2.1 billion in total spending, a substantial increase from 2025, 23.5% year-over-year growth in pet-related Valentine's Day spending. Valentine's Day underscores the value of relationships, and for many people, the connection they share with their pets is an important one. This comes to us from Phil Rist. Whether it's a dog, a cat, or other animal, consumers are looking to celebrate their pets this Valentine's Day with a special toy. Now, isn't that fascinating? Okay, I admit I am not an animal lover as much as some others are. I do love animals. I have a dog. I do. I have a dog. It is a lovely dog. My dog's name is Lady. Have I ever thought to buy Lady a Valentine's Day gift? I am remiss to say I have not. But a significant portion of the population has. 31%. No, 38%. I mean, think about that. That's a significant portion. And of course, not only, we've talked about this before, non-celebrants, among consumers not planning traditional Valentine's Day celebrations, 31% intended to mark the occasion through alternative activities. Number one, self-care. How about buying a gift for yourself? Number two, personal indulgences, social gatherings with friends and family members. Popular non-traditional activities include self-gifting, which allows individuals to participate in Valentine's Day commerce without requiring romantic relationships. Friend gatherings, as considered a social alternative to couple-focused celebrations and family outings. I think all of this adds up to something that we kind of know. Okay, romantic relationships, not as many as there used to be, people getting married much later, etc. How about some ads and some email campaigns targeting your pet, huh? Or targeting yourself? I would have never thought about it up until February of 2026, but it's time. If you've been holding back because you think, oh, it's, I don't know. How many people are actually buying for themselves on Valentine's Day? How many people are actually buying for their pet? How many people are actually buying for their friend group? A lot more than you thought. Record spending. I think this it speaks to the power of the American consumer. Boy, we love buying things. We do. We love buying things. It doesn't matter how the economy is looking. If it's holiday time, we are going to spend. And now Valentine's Day is very much a part of that. Don't overlook Valentine's Day. If your early revenue is down, you're not hitting your marks, etc., it's time to spin up something for Valentine's Day. Gift it to yourself, gift it to your pet, gift it to your friend. And if you got one, gift it to your lover. Before we move on to our last couple of stories from the day, we should talk about Seguno. Seguno is the only marketing suite that is built entirely inside of Shopify. It lives in the place and space that you already work every day. Here is why that's important. That is important because it means your emails, your pop-ups, your reviews, your banners, etc., all of it lives right there, and you don't have to trust a duct-taped data integration to hopefully sync and give you accurate performance readouts. Your Shopify data is the data. That's why this is so important. And that's why Seguno won the 2024 Shopify App Build of the Year, which is huge, okay? Seguno is built for lean teams with big aspirations, lean teams with big dreams, exactly like Will Roman and Chisos Boots or myself at Bruce Bolt. If you don't have a full-time email marketer on your team right now, you need to be using Seguno. Why? Because they're going to make it dead simple and easy for you to grow your revenue and take advantage of all of those juicy, delicious retention opportunities. Okay. One-click automations, help from actual humans that you can reach out to and get help from right away. They're not going to send you to another partner. They will help you themselves. If you go to seguno.com, you'll get a free trial for 10 days. But if you tell them that the Cowboy sent you, they'll increase that free trial to 30 days. Chris, CEO of Seguno, is coming on the show very soon. He has been in email for so long. This is email 3.0. He's been in it since email 1.0. Go to seguno.com, test drive that platform gratis for free. Make it happen. Many thanks for them being a partner of the show. Okay, lastly here. This is honestly, it's an opportunity for me to put on the clown nose. Okay. I should be putting on a clown nose right now. I admit, because something that I loved and hailed just a few days ago, we've gotten back the reports and we intimated this yesterday, but now we have the official data. Something I was singing the praises of only days ago has come back as a total failure and a reject from the public. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Anthropic's Super Bowl ads. Okay. AI took over the Super Bowl, accounting for 23% of ads, but maybe we should not all be surprised in that the general public did not like them, and they did not like them a lot. Okay. I'm going to read to you from some of this article that comes to us from Adweek because I think it's insightful and it's important for us to remember AI has a messaging problem. They do. They have a messaging problem to the consumer at large. They have a messaging problem inside of the B2B space as well, which we have talked about before. I'm going to read to you some of this article. According to iSpot, 23% of Super Bowl commercials, 15 out of the 66 ads featured AI. This includes giants like OpenAI and Anthropic selling AI directly to consumers. Of course, Svedka, which a lot of us took pot shots at, maybe well deserved. The ads reflected a broader AI arms race this football season, with brands across product categories framing the technology as inevitable, while promising smarter tools, more human interactions, and seamless integration of AI into everyday life. Now, we all know Anthropic's ads were targeting ChatGPT explicitly, even though they didn't mention chat explicitly inside of the ads. We all hailed the ads on D2C, tech Twitter, X Twitter, D2C Twitter, D2C X, tech Twitter, etc. We all loved them. They were incredible, right? Mass public did not think so. Oren John intimated that might be the case as he was watching and at his own Super Bowl party, once positioned as distinct tools for different audiences, with ChatGPT marketed as a broad consumer platform and Claude framed primarily as a coder-focused tool. The companies are increasingly converging on similar promises around productivity. Anthropic's Super Bowl debut, which drew close attention from rivals, illustrated the risks of that convergence. Obviously, they were talking about ads are coming to your platform. If you use chat, that's no good. Use Claude. That's the point. The vast majority of consumers don't know what Claude is. Many people aren't going to really get the, oh, we're comparing ourselves to ChatGPT. This is a quote from Williamson inside of this article. Early audience response suggested the message struggled to land. Oh no, anybody who's just spent $10 million on a Super Bowl ad does not want to hear this. The message struggled to land. That's red lights going off. This is bad. Oh no. Okay, now I'm going to give you the data. According to an iSpot survey of 500 viewers, the ad's likability score placed it in the bottom 3%. Compared with Super Bowl ads over the past 5 years, the bottom 3%. Oh no. You know, when you get a test in college and it comes back to you, you're thinking you're going to get a B and actually you got a D, or you get even much lower than that. You got something like a 30. Can't say that's ever happened to me personally before. Maybe it did freshman year, but when that kind of score comes back, you're like, oh no. Okay, you know what's worse than a 65 and worse than a 37? A 3. And that's what these ads scored, is in the bottom 3% of Super Bowl ads over the past 5 years. Now, you might say, well, okay, it's going to get a smaller or lower score anyway because it's AI and it's ads and it's new. It's not like they're advertising for Budweiser or for something that is a usual consumable that is already emblazoned on the American mind. Yeah, okay, but you don't want to be in the bottom 3%. And the summation of this article is that viewers most commonly described their reaction as WTF. What is this? What's it about? I don't get it. Signaling confusion around both the message and the execution. We all know the confused customer never buys. Confused customer never buys. It's one of the tenets of what we do on the internet every day and in every way. If you're confusing your customer, they're probably not going to shell out their bucks for you. I feel like I deserve a little bit of a wah wah or something here because this was not what we wanted. And I was singing the praises not very long ago. I'm going to play it for myself now. Oh, I couldn't hear it because there we go. Yeah. Now I'm clapping for myself. But anyway, regardless, okay. It didn't go well. And unfortunately, I think a lot of the rest of us were wrong as well. Okay. As we wrap up here, Europe is accusing TikTok of something that I think we all knew for a long time. Okay. The headline here, this comes to us from the New York Times. Europe accuses TikTok of addictive design and pushes for change. Is this a surprise to anyone on the internet? There was addictive design built in. No, it is not. Okay. This is how every social platform is built. It's designed to addict you. Dopamine. I want more. Show me more. And if you've been inside of TikTok before, you know it is the easiest thing in the world to start scrolling, look up 90 minutes later and wonder where the time went or what did I actually watch. I can't imagine it's healthy for our brains, but it is good at what it does. And that is be entertaining. Figure out what you like and what you might like next and automatically push it into your feed such that you numb yourself for many minutes per day. I think TikTok has the highest watch time, average user time of any social platform. And there's good reason for that. It's because they're good at what they do. Now, I don't know if this actually ends up causing change. What Europe is asking for is fundamental change of the platform itself. And I just can't imagine that's actually going to happen. I mean, maybe they roll out, maybe TikTok rolls out some kind of less addictive yet still user-friendly version for Europe in the end. Maybe it takes several years, but I just can't see this actually happening. I'd love to know what you think, what any other minds, bright minds on the platform who are hearing my voice right now think about this. I just don't see this as actually yielding any change. These things, of course, they're built to be addictive. It's the same for nicotine. It's the same for alcohol. It's the same for so many of what are largely categorized as vice products inside of the world. And yeah, of course. And let's be honest, anybody who is putting a product out there, they want you to get positively addicted to it. Now, of course, there are always ramifications, and that is the case. That has been borne out. We all know social media is not good for us in the long term, maybe in small measures, but I don't know that this actually causes any change. I don't know. In any case, I want TikTok to survive. I want humanity to be healthy, and I want our mental health to go up and to the right. And I hope we all have even better places to put ads and buy eyeballs at the end of the day. Many thanks to our partners who make this show possible: Seguno, Postscript, AMP. Many thanks to Will Roman, who is doing incredible things at Chisos, and for coming today. We miss Colin. We hope he feels better. And I hope that you will join us again tomorrow. There's going to be more happening on the internet and inside of e-commerce to talk about again very soon. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the other side.